we coming from the true space. We ain't entertaining neighbors, I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space.
Get her going. What's good, everybody? My name is Open Book.
Hey
It's my
guys,
partner.
this is Harith. Welcome back to Truspace.
And let's break down Venus moving into Leo. So, Venus leaving Cancer now, moving into Leo. How do you think this is
So
going to
right
end?
now, all love matter. What we desire, what we appreciate, what we like to indulge in. Spending a while in Cancer, learning how to get comfortable, learning how to give meaning and reason to different desires, different ways of indulging in things, which is very important because Pluto in Capricorn was forcing us to take integrity as Venus was indulging its own feeling. It was almost like catching Venus in a very vulnerable moment as Lilith was there too. So that really made us take responsibility of how we utilize our like what we love, desire, and like be very aware of how we utilize these things. And right now, Venus moving into Leo, moving into a stage where we're gonna express these things we're building with our family. Our family was helping us to get comfortable with. This is the time to express it on the stage, to show it to the world, to show love to ourselves, but also share the love with others because we don't want to hug the stage by ourselves because Saturn's an Aquarius too, opposing us, really demanding that we associate ourselves and the way we can express this love, which is gonna be very beautiful but very easy to get lost in because this Venus in Leo, you get lost in your own way of expressing love and expecting people to express the same way of love for you. And this Leo, it's public. It squares Scorpio, so it's not private, and it squares also Taurus. It's not practical. It could like deal with burning through illusion and be very highly delusion, not practical. So you want to be very careful as Venus transit into Leo, hitting all these planets.
It may even throw you off, especially with Saturn being there opposing. You may not look or understand the true value of your creativity and your individuality with Saturn there because it's making you see it as not certain things as unpractical or really putting the pressure to make something out of it. But you shouldn't let that hold too much, especially since Virgo's coming after, and like with Leo, it's very, especially with Leo season right now, it's very important for honesty, just honesty, because as you're creatively expressing yourself, as you're expressing how you see yourself, as if you're honest at that light that is spread out, you're gonna get the truth back to you, especially when you go back into Virgo, and then you start to assess all of these things and start to make sense out of it, or start to practicalize where that light kind of starts to get collected and understood. So don't let the pressure of Saturn hold you back from expressing yourself. Maybe you should have just expressed yourself recklessly, I wouldn't recommend that, but with intention and what you want to entertain. Just like what you were saying, like you can get so easily lost in this type of energy, and you can even connect with people that are entertaining the same bullshit as you, just pulling you deeper, connecting you deeper with the bullshit, wasting more of your time. Now it's not just when you do it by yourself, you're on that bullshit. Now you're gonna go out with other niggas to be on that bullshit and then come and be on that bullshit by yourself again. That type of thing. At least, even if you're on that type of bullshit or you're entertained by these things, or it's harder to get away from these things, especially now, try and create those relationships of the things that you do want to focus on, the things that you do want to entertain, though the ways that you do want to see yourself. Try and connect with your friend who goes to the gym. You know that they go to the gym. Try and connect to being around that a little more if that's what you want to incorporate in your life. The friend that talks about more business or whatever the hell that it is that you personally want to entertain and how you personally want to see yourself. how you want to create reality. If you want to be an artist, make friends with other artists and really share in that energy. And then you guys will start manifesting the positive side of Venus, and not get too lost in the entertainment, because it'll be easy. It'll be easy. This that socialite energy. It's gonna be a lot easier to make friendships, to get into relationships. You know, you're gonna start seeing girls out there, you know, dressed all half naked, and they want you to look at them, and they're a little bit more inviting. You know, it's like that hot energy. They want to be seen. You know, they want to be approached. Now, you know, it's kind of primed for that, and then look where we are. We're at the fixed point of summer. You know, right on cue to kind of add more flair, more pageantry to this Leo situation, to creative expression, which is definitely being scrutinized by Saturn, which is crazy. But I think it's really important for us to really be honest with that self-expression and the things that you value, and how you go about balancing your entertainments, and how you go about balancing joy into your life. This is a really crucial thing, because this is where you can get it. Because Venus and Leo, I can see that be so selfish. You can easily get into those selfish mentalities. Be like, no, this is me. I enjoy this. You know, you can't take this. I work hard. You know. That's one thing that I realized becoming like a grown up, having a job, making your own money and shit like that. How easy it is to eat unhealthy. The mindsets that I was putting myself, I'm like, nigga, I made this money. I can go and buy this and buy that, and because I could. I had the power. I seen how easy it was to slip into things, you know, with the more options and stuff like that, where I really had to start, you know, either making connections or start valuing, you know, other things, trying to start entertain and find other ways of making other things fun, you know, and start to bring enjoyment into that instead of falling for the easy traps, because it's gonna be out there. It's gonna be out there.
I got Venus in not in Leo, but I got in the fifth house and things of that. But it's in the fifth house in Taurus. So I like to entertain, have fun with traditional things, practical things, things dealing with money and assets. So like I feel like this is very fitting for like what you're gonna need to do, especially having Uranus. There in Taurus was gonna really demand that squaring it to, is gonna demand Venus to really present things as unique, original on the stage, as Saturn is judging it and making sure it's presentable, it's associating these things. It's not hugging all the stage by itself.
Exactly. It's gonna be that pressure, and maybe that's where it would fall, and you could lose a lot of confidence with how you move. You can lose a lot of values, and yeah, like self-respect and how you see yourself. Maybe even cave in to the collective, you know, start mentalities, to start dimming your Leo light. Um, and this is where, like, with power comes responsibility. Like, with just you having the ability to pay attention, that first awareness. It's like there's responsibility in that. You pay attention. There's responsibility in that, and you will get the cost or the receipts of the things that you pay attention to eventually. Right now, with these generational planets being in the fixed signs, it's gonna be almost immediate, where it's like where you have to stay strong, or really value the way that you see yourself, or you'll start a whole cascade of events where it's like, oh, I didn't want to. Oh, it's like it was your one cheat day, you know, like your fucking one cheat day or some shit like that. But then, you know, niggas went and seen it, or done started a cascade of whole events that made it way more than it had to have been, and incorporated more people, and became more of a responsibility than it ever had to have been. You know, just stuff like that, things that you can really get lost in
So like
entertaining. especially people. You can entertain other people's bullshit a little bit too much.
100%. The peace
Yeah.
dealer calls the fixed side. He says it deals with generating energy, and by that he means when it comes to elements, they produce like the physical modality of that element, the physical like portion of it. So if we have like cardinal fire Aries, we have fixed fire Leo, which is the actual consistent form of fire. And like this is kind of what you want to do with Venus. You want to be consistent with that vision, imagination that you want to express, but being Leo being the ruled by the fire element, the lightest element compared to earth, water, air, and things of that nature, you want to keep that fire going. It's going to be very hard. Uranus in Taurus destabilizing everything, so you got to keep the fire going. As Saturn, of course, is moving all these different clouds in a very fixed, forced way, and then uses Venus and Leo. He's just having fun with this flame. So, like, you want to be very careful.
Very careful. Because yeah, I bet now Venus and Leo, she's not thinking of responsibilities and, and later on and stuff like that, how it's going to affect other people, how other people can affect, the situation. She's not thinking about all of that. And rightfully so. It's important for us to understand how we see things and to really come to start valuing our own individuality and how we come to create things. But we're at such a collective point in human history where all these planets are in generational signs and we can see it. People don't know how to think for themselves anymore. They need the general opinion. They need to know what, and everything's so coagulated like that. We're so collective like that we get lost in that energy. So it's very important with this energy, but we have to take it seriously, knowing the opposition with Saturn and the square with Uranus is coming, in terms of
Oh,
making the most out of our enjoyment.
yeah, and we also got the South Node in Scorpio. So as you're presenting these things, you might have hidden enemies that might come and stab you, or you might realize a lot of vulnerabilities behind these desires. And I really understand your desire as you present it on the stage from much a deeper level, because we don't understand these things till we go through the experience itself. So like the South Node in Scorpio is gonna really expose Venus' true desire as it goes on this stage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's where all the whole pressure. Oh shit. That's where the whole pressure is. Yeah, you can't be flunked out this transit because with all of that, light's gonna go into a really dark or to the darker aspects of yourself. And it may be individualistic, but then Saturn and Uranus is there, which is putting it in the in the public phase. So it's like you're so right with those issues of the past that are being held on to, that are a little bit darker, your deeper desires. It's gonna come into a little bit more of a light because as you're expressing yourself, if you're just free as a bird and just entertaining all of these things, those hidden subconscious desires will start peeping in, and then Saturn is right there to go and talk about it, share it out with everybody and shit like that. Just go and show you how you're impractical because it's Aquarius, or use those why you can't join the collective to make it harder for you to join the collective, for you to feel like you are a part of something, to make you feel undesirable. And then Uranus is there. Maybe you feel like nothing is stable type deal. So you don't want, like, I feel like this is a very good opportunity, a challenge for us to see how we should value ourselves. How we should go and see ourselves and balance that within our lives to go and help take us forward. For sure. And then we can go and look at the transits that Venus and Leo is
Yeah,
going to
sure.
make. So yeah, Venus is entering into Leo, starting fresh, coming off of that opposition with Pluto, quickly, how did you think that
It's
opposition
really
hit
about
us?
purifying Venus and making sure Venus has the right message as it gets from home. It's almost like Venus was a girl, and then she getting a message from her mom to do this, not to do that, and things of that in nature. She goes to school, the public life, so she wants her to keep her integrity as a young female who's gonna become an adult.
Facts, facts. And I was even stressing the importance and the seriousness of the transit. It's funny because Pluto was doing the exact same thing. It was letting you know it's like, yo, this shit's serious, my nigga. Well, when it was in what was it,
Mm-hmm.
Cancer, and you're bringing everything close to you. Is like, yo, the shit that you're gathering, that you're attaching feelings and emotion to, this
Mm-hmm.
shit's serious. And if you start centering that stuff around you and you start entertaining these things more, I'm gonna clap your ass. But yeah, it's Venus entering into Leo, makes a trine with the sun. I mean, with the moon in Aries on the 14th. How do you think that's
Wow,
gonna hit?
so our emotion is gonna be a little bit. We're gonna be a little bit selfish, a little bit focused on initiating our own way of seeing and feeling as Venus is entering Leo. I feel like this is gives us. Let's think about us first as we jump on the stage and later share the stage with other people. So really, this is helping like Venus get off the stage with that nice emotion, trying to. Is right? Is it like your emotion gonna provoke your desires because like you're emotionally motivated and your desires, I want to go on the stage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, well, you want to start something, like you have a little bit extra boost of confidence, to chase that desire. Maybe you're not even allowing the thought. Maybe it's more of a impulsive type decisions or reactions. Where you're more on that type of vibe, on that type of day. And then Venus and Leo, your social situation is going to be lined up to go help it accelerate that. It's funny that's coming right after the opposition with
Mm.
Saturn, so it's kind of like while the Sun and Saturn's dueling. It's interesting. I wonder if that energy, that boost of individualism, will help Leo in turn battle with Saturn to kind of, at least make you take that leap in faith. Maybe your Leo energy or creative expression isn't as refined. That's okay. We can fix that in Virgo season. But or you can come and refine that in Virgo season. But it's giving you the extra confidence, I feel, to express yourself to Saturn, to make the individual known, make what you want known, how you see yourself known, and whether it's going to be rejected by the collective, whether it's going to be looked at as impractical or illogical, or like it's going against the structure of something that seems like it's working. At least it's going to be known, and that light is going to be able to bounce back and for you to reassess and to understand how to better accommodate how you feel within this reality. So I feel like that trying to help give that boost, and then it's the early signs too. So it's naive, it's like, oh, this might be fun, and go and do it, and not thinking too
And
much
definitely like the
about it.
moon in Aries, it's having this nice sextile to Saturn. Yeah, in Aquarius, providing it like Saturn in Aquarius will respect Aries, just initiate that vision and trying, and that will give the Venus the energy to look presentable to Aquarius, aka a little bit more individualistic, because Leo wants to be more socially like fit in. Aries gonna give it that boost to like stand out a little bit.
To make it look newer, because I bet Leo, because it's a fixed sign too, and same thing with Aquarius, but Aquarius moves forward, and they want to be rebellious. So I can see how that could work with the Aries energy because it's presenting something new. But then if you can creatively express it the way that only you can, now it's even better. So yeah, as it's moving, it's making a trine with Jupiter. How do you think that's gonna
Man,
hit?
that's a
Jupiter and Aries
Venus and Leo. That's
on the 18th.
amazing. That's literally a lot of opportunities for you to grow and expand and extract knowledge and wisdom on what you love and appreciate and what you really like to indulge in, because Jupiter right now is helping you boost your knowledge and your wisdom when it comes to whatever vision and imagination that you want to start this Jupiter cycle with, considering that Jupiter is in Aries. Jupiter in Aries going through that at least the first 8 degree, and right now it's retrograding. We're gonna utilize all that energy and give it to Venus in Leo, and Venus in Leo is gonna utilize that knowledge and wisdom based on our first idea, our first thought, first vision, imagination, Aries, and we're gonna present it in Leo. We're gonna make it much more consistent, and Jupiter's gonna give us the confidence, almost like having a teacher, as Leo being this female who's just coming from home, entering this like Hollywood, if you will.
I get what you mean, into the spotlight, right? It's like, I get what you mean, having the mentor helping you on that new journey as you go out into, like say Hollywood, for example, as you go out to go and on this journey and to go express your talents, you will have this kind of mentor type energy, whether and it may not even be a physical person or a mentor, and it might, because with Venus we're talking about relationships. So through a relationship, you may get more knowledge and wisdom through your connections, but it may not be just a relationship with the person. It could be a person, place, or thing, that how that manifests. But it's going to have that mentor type energy, that guiding type of energy, and allow you to have faith in yourself, allow you to believe in your own personal ability, your own vision, that can be something. And then with Venus and Leo, it's like, maybe I can try it, maybe I can try it, and then go into express. And that's kind of tying into what I was saying before in terms of how you need to shine that light and for understanding to be collected from that. And with Jupiter and Aries, it's so primed for new experience. It's so primed for new knowledge and wisdom. I bet we can come to bigger conclusions a lot faster, especially since it's the beginning of the journey. Like, we have like broad snapshots
Yeah, yeah.
of how we want to be, or how we want to feel. So Venus and Leo, as you're expressing it, it's kind of like updating that snapshot in real time, or showing you it's adding more definition in real time. Like, you're starting to see more details, or maybe it was a blurry picture, but you understood the vibe, the desires were fulfilled. You know how you wanted to feel within that broader picture. But now you're starting to see the details of how you can start filling in that, what colors are starting to play out, and how that all starts to coagulate together.
The only thing you're gonna watch out for, you're gonna learn how to manage all this like benefic energy, because Venus is gonna bring a lot of experiences that you enjoy, and then Jupiter too. So you're gonna learn how to correlate, especially with the fire element. You might create a lot of opportunities that you may see yourself that I don't need to take all these opportunities and express all these things. So you gotta be very careful. You got a lot of energy to do things, but a lot of energy to also burn yourself.
And that's why the selfish energies shouldn't be too bad, like, with these energies, Venus and Leo, and Jupiter and Aries, to some degree you have to be selfish, or you have to be thinking about yourself, being an individual, because that's the area of focus. You're trying to incorporate more big pictures, ideas with large amounts of people and all of that type of stuff. That's really not going to work. You're not going to manifest the most fruits. You have to see all about your personal action and what you can do right now, and all of that type of stuff. So while it still needs to be managed, you don't want to get too lost, but it's going to keep you grounded. And in that, remember, all the generational planets are or a lot of them are in the collective signs. So we're focusing on everybody else so much, so we can really utilize more selfishness and still fall in a safe range. A lot of people need to be more individualistic, and that'll lead them to being more realistic in life, just in general. Other people help support the la la lands, but when it's on you, it's like, okay, all right, I'll section things out properly. So yeah, as it's moving further into the signs, it makes a trine with Chiron. Maybe quickly how that is, how that would
Obviously,
hit.
as you're presenting these things you love, you desire, it's almost like giving a healing effect to Carrion. And like this is beautiful too. Like Carrion will like enjoy having this nice trine with Venus. It's much more better than say uh, Mars, maybe Uranus, Saturn, things of that nature. Venus, like it's almost like grandpa talking to his like granddaughter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where he can maybe feel more at ease with his with the wounds he sustained, or the that type of energy, help him reach more knowledge of how things progressed, of how you can heal the individual by seeing the bright Venus in her element, expressing herself, doing all of that. You're starting to see, wow, my individuality, or chasing my desires, or this vision wasn't always bad. I didn't get lost, or me thinking about myself turned into something that I could share with the world. And then, well, this is on August 24th. And then it's also making a square with the nodes. And then Uranus is right fucking there, too. So, how do you think the square with the nodes is going to
Man,
treat
so right now,
Venus?
like whatever you're presenting is gonna create opportunity for you to see whether it's gonna align with your spiritual path and like what you're supposed to do to achieve this material wealth that you want, this stability, this sense of comfort, values. Negatively, if this does not work so well, you're gonna feel scared, and it's Venus too. If Venus is so close to us, you're gonna feel like uh, your desires are like useless, especially with what's going on with this world, yo. You're gonna feel like your desires is getting you lost out of what's happening in totality of things. It's almost like you're not in sync of like what's happening.
Yeah, for sure. I can see how, because um physical reality is so unstable right now, especially with Venus being in Leo. Maybe you'll feel like you don't have enough resources to enjoy yourself, or it's such a strain on your resources when you try and have a little bit more fun, or when you try and do that, or maybe you're having a little bit too much fun and you're starting to see that strain on your resources, and then it may force you to start looking back into past situations, into vulnerabilities, into deeper desires, things that you maybe not want to express, but it's starting to bring up those type of things. But yeah, that the newness and the rawness of the resources and the stability, I can see that's really throwing Venus and Leo off, or how it can make that a struggle for it to be expressed fully. What if you're on stage but you don't have, you're talented and you can go up on stage, but you don't have the gas money to go and drive there because you went and bought, more weed or some shit like that. So that's that type of situation where I can see manifest, with the instability. Like normally you have enough money to put gas in your car and buy the weed, but the instability of resources and all, maybe the hours got cut and all these different types of shit, and then you start realizing, making you realize how much you desire certain things, or make certain things more intense than they have had to have been. So I could see that challenge with Venus and Leo as you're trying to creatively express yourself. Physical reality and your vulnerabilities are gonna go and try and throw a wrench in your tire, that type of thing, to kind of slow your roll. But how honest you are being with that energy, and how Venus and Leo, if you're doing it correctly, you can laugh it off. You can laugh it off. you can feel abundant in joy, or feel more lighthearted. Know that you can start new things, or that you're in control of how you see yourself. And if you're in that type of energy, you'll handle this square so much better. And then the moon conjuncts Venus and Leo, um, making it out kind of when it started to get closer to Saturn too. How do you think that's
Man,
playing out?
so you're gonna be emotionally affected by what your love matter is presenting on this stage as it getting opposed by Saturn, correct? It's opposed by
Mm-hmm.
Saturn, so that's gonna make you feel like the world is being very restrictive or controlling about like what desire that you like to express, and this make you very emotional. And the moon being in Leo, man, you feel like uh you being on the stage, but you being like crucified, depending on like whatever Venus was expressing on the stage. So you're gonna be either emotionally reacting on a good way based upon Saturn is giving you good feedback, and if it's a negative way, you're gonna feel like you're emotionally naked, if you will. It's almost like Saturn will block Leo light in a way it's gonna feel like it has nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. And then you'll really get to see where you have been placing your emotions. This is where you get, like, you're so emotionally attached to a way of seeing yourself. And if you're too forceful with that type of energy, and then you go and try and bring it up to Saturn, so be like, what is this stupid shit that you just, that you just said? And then you hadn't even fathomed. You did, or you're so catering to how you see things with the power struggle. It can be hard to either withstand it, or if you lose the power struggle, aka you can't even present it in physical reality. Maybe there, because that's what leads to escapism, even too, or some defensiveness on that type of level. That's when you start using light shields. I seen Leos do that shit too. With the light shields, these niggas go crazy with that. There will be a whole bunch of shit. They'll be like, say this isn't real, or this isn't right, but when they do it, it's okay. It's like a whole bunch of flunked out shit, or how everybody else sees things is wrong, and how I see things is the only way that things are. It's like, wow, you don't think that everybody else has their own individual? It's like, no, well, they do, but it's wrong, and mine's the only. It's so easy to get into that type of energy, especially if Venus been overindulging and shit like that. But you can't bring that shit to Saturn. It'll suckle your ass right down. And Saturn can be very physical. That's why if you make like negative alignments to Saturn too, you can get hurt, and or you'll feel like your money's gone, your assets are gone. It's like a real world. It's like the world. It's like worldly loss that happens when you can't come to
It's
Saturn
the
and
Grim
shit.
Reaper, yeah, yeah.
That's facts. So it's like if your emotions are there in the right spots, I feel like it can help you lift back past that. Be able to see yourself how you want to see yourself, even if physical reality is not there, even if you have all of these responsibilities that force you to see yourself. If you've been planting the right seeds, maybe you're thinking ahead in the future, or that this is how I want to see myself, and this is the energy and state of being that I want to be in, and you're expressing that in an honest way, making the adjustments where you can. You'll better handle that type of energy. But you're right about the moon making it so much more emotional. And then Saturn in Aquarius is like, well, why you so emotional? And then they can use that
It's almost
against you.
like Venus jumped on the stage, and then Grandpa's watching the show, and then Venus does something wrong, and then the mother runs in the moon to hug her. It'd be like, it's okay, it's okay. And then Saturn is watching the whole thing, like, man.
Yeah, just in disgust. Be like, yeah, for sure. Yo, that's jokes. That's jokes. For sure. And then yeah, it makes that exact opposition with Saturn. And then it comes into what is that? It in conjunction with Neptune. How do you think the in conjunction is gonna hit
That's your love, what you
with
love
Neptune
and
and
what you
Pisces?
desire has been diving deeper and deeper into Leo. You really want, you're entertaining these having fun with these things, but you're really questioning what your subconscious mind is giving you, being retrograding right now. You're not as confident with what you believe in. It's almost like a blind spot. Like you don't know what am I loving and desiring, how it's gonna affect me in the long term, and how does this uh, thing right now is gonna affect my subconscious really. So it's really hard. Like it's Leo. Leo oppose Aquarius, but in conjunct Capricorn and Pisces. So it doesn't understand the need of structure, business, how why we need and we need to initiate that. AK, look at celebrities. They play out a lot of Leo energy and a lot of they don't want to take responsibility for nothing. They just want to have fun and they want to have money given to them by what the corporation, by the record labels, and just sign contracts and not take responsibility. That's literally Leo energy, and
Yeah.
then it in conjunct Pisces, so they don't understand the deepness of how they're affecting the world subconscious mind with their lyrics, with their saying. I'm t- the
The
influence.
influence.
Like a lot of rappers right now. I'm telling you, like later on when they die, they're gonna pay the price for every single word they said.
Facts. I bet Kanye is kind of noticing that now. That's why he's singing about Jesus. That's why he's talking about God. It's like love. Yeah, this is the kind of music I make. North. Yeah, this is what it
Like,
is. And instead of her listening to the
and
old
like
shit.
I feel like Kanye West deserved this to a certain extent, yo. Like he allowed himself to be so deeply in the industry. Like there's no way for him to get out of the wave.
That's facts. That's facts. Same thing with Cardi. Like what she didn't play her song. She didn't play WAP. She stopped playing WAP in front of her own child. Look how viral that song went, and she didn't play it for her own child. So that goes to let you know about that
Also,
energy
a great example,
for sure.
gangster rap. When it first exploded, a lot of people got killed. It literally increased the killing rate. The track "Shook Ones" by Mobb Deep was sometimes prevented from being played in certain clubs because some people, when it got played, they killed each other because it was that intense.
Yeah,
That's
man.
how intense Leo could be. Just think about how the sun really affects us, and look how that energy being directed through individuals and things of that nature.
Uh, that's facts. I remember Daylight talking about it. It's funny, Daylight's in Aquarius, but and he was talking about how like early 2000s, like coming off of that, especially after the golden age of hip hop. But when like 2000, shit was really getting violent. Like 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 50 Cent and all of that. And I guess it was like a progression of things.
Oh,
But there was
50
so
Cent,
much, especially in the 90s, there's
50
so much
Cent,
good conscious stuff to combat that. Once 50
a
came,
cancer.
once the 2000s came, it was kind of some dumb nigga shit. It was like all dumb nigga shit.
50.
Where it was all niggas was in the club with a bag of clothes and shit like that, just not even dancing, just standing at the corner. It was mean mugging. Like it was like shit could pop off at any time. It was like niggas weren't dancing, niggas weren't have. It wasn't music about all of this other. It was music about killing niggas and running up on niggas and doing all this other type of gangster shit and it gets tense. It's like for sure. That's why he was saying kind of this new wave energy. The kids they're on. Maybe they're doing a little bit too much drugs and all of this other type of shit. But they're at least trying to have fun. They're coming out of a climate where niggas was killing each other. At least they're killing themselves. At least you're not attacking someone else. You're killing yourself, which is, there's steps. There's steps to shit. That's a step
And this
forward.
goes back to Venus in conjuncting Neptune and Pisces. Like understanding really how our desires could really put us in the wrong place and we don't even realize it.
Facts. Facts. It can play out in both ways where what you're creating right now, what you're valuing right now, can be very tethered to an influence that you're not aware of in the moment. And this is what the in conjunction will kind of make you more aware of, because it's Neptune and Pisces, it may be a little bit more subtle. But inversely, it's still going to be subtle. But you may start to notice that what you're creating now is going to have influence later on, or is creating these subconscious beliefs and stuff like that. You can use this energy to your advantage, since you know that these energies are coming up, and start expressing ideas of self that you want to embed subconsciously to kind of put you at a better place. But it's kind of making it awkward, because you're trying to do your own thing, but you feel influence on you, and you're like, where the fuck did that come from the collective? And then you're feeling that you're adding to the collective, so you're like, oh fuck, I don't want to do that, I just want to do my own thing, I just want to see, I just wanted to entertain this, I didn't want to create this whole belief system, I didn't want to create this whole attachment, this whole thing. I just want to entertain some
Neptune
shit.
is exalted in like Leo archetype. So like Leos, they dream big when it comes to their own vision and imagination. Like this is the same energy they utilize to make up a lot of different stories about heroes, Jesus Christ, and things of that nature. Really exalt that story about the individual in his own dream world.
For sure. For sure. And then they also show, like the undoing and all of the influences that, that make them bring them to all of that stuff. For sure. And then it's moving into an in conjunction. It's in conjuncting Neptune and Pluto, which is interesting. The farthest planets, our closest planet is in conjuncting them, which is interesting. It's kind of our personal things, what we're focusing on right now, what we're valuing, what we're sensing, what we're trying to balance in such a physical way. It's like we're being hit with these signals that, that the energy that we're playing with now with Venus ripples, far out, far out into our lives with other people in the world in general. But yeah, how do you think that in
like exactly like what you were saying, how our desires sometimes they don't get us in the same page as the generational planets, which are the most important planets. If you could keep up with the generational planet, you would survive your entire generation. You will come back 30, 40 years later, looking at everybody in your classmates, people your friends, gone, lost in the flood, while you were something else completely, and you don't even know how you got there.
Exactly. And then you understand with the generational planets, you understand where everybody got lost. Like you're connected to all of that. You had to deal with the same influences. So it's really such a learning experience that you get when you're getting hit with these generational planets. Once you start putting everybody together, you start concentrating people, lessons start magnifying. For sure. But I bet this is gonna serious up. It's like Pluto's like, I told you this shit was serious. After the opposition with Saturn, after the T square with the nodes and shit, it's like Pluto's coming around. It's like, nigga, I told you this shit was serious. And will you be able to?
Pluto's in a cardinal sign, so it's like it's initiating things. Like things is like happening, while Venus is in a fixed sign. You're trying to be consistent, pretty, and to uphold certain things. While Pluto's like everything is like getting crashed behind you. It's like you gotta put the right exactly. show before Pluto comes to you, and like looks like what you're doing.
And this is why being honest with that expression is there or is so needed, because and you may not see the benefit of the creation because you're in the act of creating, but later on, especially like when when Venus moves into Virgo, when you start to make sense out of it and it starts to come together, and it's your talents and your values are being ready to be made to the higher level, now we can kind of step to Pluto, or now it's going to start making sense. But now Pluto is like reminding you of that importance of holding that integrity and of the responsibilities and the changes of society that is going on. You know, that seriousness kind of, you know, maybe in the last end of that transit helps reaffirm or remind you of, oh yeah, I need to be honest with what I'm connecting to and what I'm exchanging my emotions with, in order to create things. Yeah. And then I guess on the fourth, as it's leaving Leo, um, it's making a trine with the moon in Sagittarius. Yo, it's crazy. It's crazy when you're following transits like that. It's like it's literally following like the train of thought, or like building off of what I had said previously. That or all of the others. It's crazy how shit aligns. Because then the moon's in Sagittarius, so it's like you're making sense out of the exchange of the emotions, or it's easier to understand that and to see the broader vision of the emotions exchanged, which is interesting. That reminds me of like with the daughter mother reference again, but you know the Venus is in the energy presenting all of this energy out, and then the moon in Sagittarius is like the mom who has been through that energy already, you know, and has the wisdom and knowledge of it, and you know can kind of help her culture through, you know, what happens next, you know, and help culture and help her manage her creativity, her creative expression. But yeah. But yeah, what do you think about
Oh, where we at?
that trine with Venus and Leo and the moon
Oh,
in Sag?
man. Based upon how far Venus traveled in Leo and the experiences that you had with the generation planet, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn, things of that nature, the moon in Sag is going to give you that optimistic point of view and learn how to view things from a broad way and not be so fixated, which Venus right now is in Leo. You'll
Mm-hmm.
be very fixated in its own light and not learn how to stretch it and mold it in different way, which is Sagittarius' best talent, knowing how to fit in,
Mm-hmm.
how to fit in their illusion with the overall total illusion of things and things of that nature,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely learn how to view things from a
Mm-hmm.
much more spiritual perspective, and definitely gonna learn how to not view and get attached to your emotion. You might even emotionally escape based upon what you're seeing with your desires on the stage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or the things that you are valuing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the optimism is gonna be real, and if you've been entertaining bullshit, you know, maybe you can come up with justifications based off of your experiences on why you should have been entertaining that, and all of that, and then you know start accentuating that type of stuff, um, and where your experiences and wisdom can end up working against you because you don't need that wisdom, or there's other experiences that you need, but you're holding on to this because it is wisdom, you know, it is value, and you went through something to go and collect it, so then you kind of get big headed, you know, when there's more to go through. But yeah, that's Venus's transit.
In
Wanna do the
astrology,
mm-hmm. That's why this nigga seemed so jolly. This nigga seemed like he was having way too fun being the fucking president.
Bro, I don't even think he realized the totality of like what's happening. Yo, he looks like he looks like a regular person going to a 9 to 5. You no clue.
Yeah, real talk. Real talk. Political tensions are the highest. He walks in with that big ass smile. Yeah.
Can you see it right now?
Yeah.
Oh, so you see the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So right now we have George Bush, a very famous guy. So right now we're gonna look at his medical chart. Right now we're gonna speak specifically on Venus and Leo. Venus deals with our hormonal system because Venus rules naturally Taurus, our endocrine system, also our neck, but also rules Libra, the seventh house, dealing with our excretory system, our kidney. So Venus is gonna be always correlated to these two body parts that in natural rule. So right now Venus being in Leo is gonna be our hormonal system, focusing on stabilizing, creating stability, homeostasis, because that's what your hormones do. After Aries, the first house, gives birth to a nervous signal, Taurus stabilizes it, creates a hormonal signal, so you could attach yourself to it physically. A lot of us could tell ourselves to go ahead, go to the gym, or give birth to a habit, but it's very hard if you don't become consistent with it and create that hormonal connection through routines, patterns, and like focusing on it and things of that nature. So Venus and Leo, this is hormonal stability for the heart. Because right now we had, for example, that transit right now, we had the sun, the sun and things of that nature go through Leo, and all this deal with our blood, our circulatory system, allowing us to develop this through expression. One of the things you're gonna notice that most expressive people or people have the most fun, they always look young. They figure out a way to lose their vitality through expressing what more vitality. So that's very interesting. If you ever think about how can I stay young, through expressing and entertaining what you like to have fun with, and things of that nature. So Venus and Leo, this is stabilizing the heart and the circulatory system. Depending of how far we express the heart and circulatory system are very easily affected by inflammation, because the sun is hot and dry in alchemy, but also Leo, the fifth house, is hot and dry, and this creates a lot of inflammation, a lot of potential for burning through your own physical body, which is kind of different with other houses. For example, Scorpio is ruled by Mars, which is hot and dry, and the house is cold and wet. So that's different planet and a house, like elemental nature affecting each other, and this will allow Scorpios to transform and things of that nature. But that's a whole nother topic. But either way, right now George Washington, not George Washington, George Bush. It's kind of funny how they whole a lot of them have the same first name, but
So George, yeah. George Washington was even fighting a nigga named George.
It's literally they
King
keep like pushing that name for some reason. It's a different.
Dolo's like on George.
100%. So right now, this guy has his ascendant on Leo, so that means his physical constitution is gonna be what's considered as caloric. Back then in medieval Europe and back then in the ancient time, they divided people by their elemental qualities. Some people were earth dominant, some people were fire dominant, and some people were water dominant, and some people were air dominant. Your ascendant represents your physical constitution. It's what represents your physical body and things of that nature. So his physical constitution let us know he's a caloric person, someone who deals with someone who deals with the yellow bile. Yellow bile deals with breaking things down, which is something very important for fire signs. Fire signs, since they have a higher metabolism and they have a higher sense of expressing their desires and things of that nature, and they end up biologically breaking down things very fast. This is why they say people have fast metabolism, but it's based upon the fire, the vision, the imagination they could create internally. That's what makes people really have a fat metabolism. I bet you people who are they have more weight and fatter people, obese people, if you look within their mind, they're most likely they don't have that much visions, imaginations, things that makes them what to circulate, things that makes them want to move around, and things of that nature. So
they probably don't eat variety either. They probably like the same things, the same meal,
Exactly.
you know?
And
That's
another
interesting.
crazy thing, George Bush was considered one of the fittest people in the world for his age and for his position too, which is kind of funny. A lot of people ascended in Leo are considered athletic in your world. I consider a lot of fire signs or people like air signs are like athletic. Yeah,
I'm a Leo ascendant.
yeah,
I'd
yeah.
say
Mike
that.
Tyson is a Leo ascendant, so that, I find that very fitting for them and things of that nature. But his the ruler of his Leo ascendant, the sun is in Cancer, so that let us know he's definitely dealing with things, dealing with what the lymphatic immune system and things dealing with the heart and circulatory system. Because we gonna see a lot of the planets they are in one side of his chart, really emphasizing one group of his
Yeah.
organs more than the other. It really made me question how comfortable he felt in his own body and things of that nature. So the sun represents your blood, your red blood cells, and things of that nature. Now it's in Cancer, so that tells us a lot of his blood issues or whatever affect his blood comes from his lymphatic immune system. Depending on what's attacking his system, his body is gonna defend his blood. But this is the thing: his sun is in his 12th house, so his stuff dealing with his deep subconscious mind, things is learning how to undo, things dealing with hidden enemies that really might affect the way his lymphatic immune system affect his blood cells and things of that nature. The ruler is ascended, the sun being in Cancer, it's squaring Jupiter and the moon in Libra. That's very dangerous. So as his sun is creating all this awareness with his in his lymphatic and immune system to protect him, aka to protect his system, it's square and going through a lot of difficulty with the tissue expansion, inflammation that he's experiencing within the kidneys, but it's also conjuncting the moon, his lymphatic immune system, all within his kidneys. So that let us know his kidneys and his lymphatic immune system are not working whatsoever. They're clashing against each other. You got a few organs that deal with cleansing. That's a Libra, the seventh house, the excretory system, your kidneys. Also, Cancer, your lymphatic immune system. That's your fourth house. But also, actually, you got other houses that deal with cleaning your body, but they do it in different way. Like Virgo, they do it through digesting. Sagittarius, they do it through
Yeah.
inflammation, alkalinity, and things of that nature. So like it's in different ways. But either way, so he has definitely kidney issues, inflammation there with his lymphatic immune system, and then his sun, his blood is affected obviously due to the square. It's creating a lot of tension within his body. He has Saturn in Cancer too, so there's a lot of restriction with his lymphatic immune system. Saturn is debilitated in Cancer, so that Saturn is cold and dry, so that takes a lot of the wetness away from Cancer nature. And the lymphatic immune system, uh, the term lymph comes from Greek and it means water. So you can see how Saturn, cold and dry in nature, takes away from all the moisture of the lymphatic system of George Bush, was gonna cause his eventually his sun, his blood to dry up, and his blood is very important to deliver things around his body. But also, when we look at his chart, he has Mercury, Pluto, all in Leo conjuncting each other. So that tells us he's going through a major heart, blood circulatory transformation. But his transformation dealing with how he transport things, because Mercury getting transformed by Pluto in his heart and circulatory system. Venus is there also. He's trying to stabilize that area. So a lot of things going on with his heart and circulatory system, which something actually fits into a lot of things he experienced in his life, because one of his main problem was blood and heart problem, which is something uh,
Wow.
very contradicting for someone they claimed who was very healthy. But I guess you could say that since he was a president, they wanted to look presentable and leaves a social sign. So like, why wouldn't they say the president of the United States is one of the fittest people in the world? So
Yeah. Yeah. Big
yeah, it
him
makes a
up
lot
like
of
that.
sense. So he has also Mars in Virgo. So the way his neurons is get really affected by what he's digesting and breaking down. And one of the craziest thing that happened to him is that at some point Bush had a surgery for sports related to his back injury. And Virgo is your digestive system is right here around where your lower back is. And even CG could tell you the story about his sister who's a Virgo. That's like a Virgo Leo cusp, where she experiences some lower back pain because of what she's putting in her
Mm-hmm.
digestive system, and this is essentially what George Bush was experiencing with Mars in Virgo. I have Mars in Virgo. That makes us very sensitive to what we're eating.
And then you have to take action on it.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
But like all these things that right now action is taking on his digestive system to break it down, is leading up to what's happening in his kidneys, the inflammation when in his lymphatic and immune system, since his moon is in Libra too, helping him cleanse that area. Neptune is there too. Neptune in medical astrology deals with like mental health issues, like physical sensitivity, like vibrational type of things, if you will. It's very hard to measure generational plan when it comes to physical, the way it affects you physically. The only way we could measure generational planet physically is we're gonna have to take people through their entire life and see what happened to them at the end of their life, instead of comparing to the
Yeah.
closer planet, your sun, your Mercury, your moon. You could feel these affecting you much more quicker, much more closer.
Mm-hmm.
So
see
one of the things he suffered with, Bush had a hemorrhoids, which is swollen veins in his lower rectum during the period of his National Guard enlistment and things of that nature, which is, it makes a lot of sense. Look at all the planets he has before Scorpio comes in. Scorpio deal with our reproductive organs, the way we purify ourselves. So you can see how him going through all these planets before he releases waste, before he even gets to that point, how it really affected him to the point he really literally got swollen veins in his lower rectum. I literally feel bad for him.
Yeah, and that would be interesting to see what transit was hitting, because he has Pluto in Libra. I mean, in Leo. So he might have been having like a square with that Pluto shit.
Another thing,
Really
he
fuck him
experienced
up.
that you guys should take notice is he had a pre-cancerous skin issue. So he had some form of cancer grow on his skin, and I associate with Saturn being in Cancer in his 12th house, but also at
And it's 12th house.
But he also has Saturn
Yeah.
in Cancer in his 12th house too. So it's kind of funny.
Yo, I was gonna ask if this nigga have cancer? I seen Saturn in the 12th house. I'm like, did this nigga have cancer? Like that's fun. That's a scary
It
alignment. Right
is,
there.
and like he has to get, like, there was no way out of it. And it's kind of funny they use like a liquid nitrogen treatment to get rid of it.
What the fuck? So let's freeze it and kill it.
But yeah, this is it for the medical astrology portion.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy. But yeah, y'all, that's the transit of Venus in Leo. Thanks for watching. Check us out on Instagram, Truspace _. Check out our website, truspace.biz. And yeah, even just feel free to hit us up, ask us questions, anything. For sure. And thanks for your
Thank you
time. Peace out, y'all.